Kerry just pulled them out to the number 10 position. Immediately, Donegal's zone is now 10 players instead of 11. Welcome to the new world order. It's the same as the old one. Kerry rule it, except this time there's no way of stopping them. I thought if anybody could devise a system to limit Kerry's attack, it'd be Jim McGuinness. Their zonal shape was working for the most part against everyone else. They stayed compact enough that it made their shape longer so they could put pressure on outside the 2-point arc. Most of those 2-pointers are kicked obviously in the central channels. And Donegal are logical and brave enough to leave men free in areas that they're not as big a threat, knowing that they could shift over together anyway if they have to. And also, they knew who could hurt them the most, so they focused on that. Remember against Dublin in the league, they left the goalkeeper completely free when he came forward. The problem they had with Kerry is that Kerry have a lot of scoring threats, but more importantly in this final, Kerry had a plan. David Clifford was being picked up by Brendan McCall, which is no surprise to anyone, and especially not Kerry, who clearly saw him a mile down the track. He was the only one being man-marked initially, because Donegal wanted to keep their zone in place. But rather than having David Clifford in there behind all those bodies that wouldn't move out of the way, Kerry just pulled them out to the number 10 position. Immediately, Donegal's zone is now 10 players instead of 11. Eventually, Clifford was running on loops with all this extra space, kicking 3 2-pointers in the first half. They were 7 up at halftime. David Clifford kicked 7 points. But everything else was a problem for Donegal because of the way that Kerry set up. Rather than spread themselves wide and deep the way most teams do, and then Donegal would just ignore you anyway, Kerry were narrow. Their wide men, for a lot of the game, were right in off the line. They were constantly engaging these Donegal defenders and giving them a decision. Do I worry about this guy, or do I keep in my zone? Do I look at the ball? Do I look at his run? And they kept men further out the pitch than we've seen, able to keep the ball, and by God, they moved it fast with all those extra bodies, able to chip scores, and then making Donegal have to come out. Paddy Clifford, for example, sat out here dictating play, as he does anyway, but he always made sure that he was in loads of space, and Kerry made sure to keep giving the ball back to him until finally Donegal had to push out. Kerry kept creating space that Donegal didn't want to leave in their defence, and then the like of Gavin White, Dylan Geeney, Joe O'Connor, they were doing damage as well. For a team that generally dictate the terms of the play, Kerry took that completely away from Donegal, and they played the game on their terms.